Good morning, guys. Hi, welcome to my Flosstube. My name is Emily and you're very welcome to spend a bit of time with me today. I'm here for my weekly catch-up. I think it's been 7, this might be day 8 since I last recorded, so I seem to be a bit back on track. I have been off work all week, but I'll be honest, I'm having a very anxious week. So lots of little things coinciding with it being the wrong time of the month for me not to be an anxious human, so I haven't got all the hundreds of things I wanted to get done this week. It has not happened and it's already Thursday and I'm off until Tuesday, but I can already assess, I know myself well enough to know that I'm probably not going to get most of the things I wanted to get done this week done. Anyway, on thinking about doing a video, I thought, I've done no stitching. Turns out I've done quite a lot of stitching. I've got lots of, not lots, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different things to show you today, stitchy wise. And the obligatory Etsy store plug at the end for those of you who aren't interested in any of that. That's absolutely fine. I'll let you know when the stitching's done because I'll say that's my stitching done. Okay, so stitching. So Lola Crow, What the Cat Saw. I've been trying to get this finished. I'd completely forgotten about it basically till I'd pulled my mid-year whip parade. Hello to new people, by the way. Hi. I've been trying to get it finished because it really just needs to be done now. I'm on the boring wallpaper bit, bar a little bit of back stitch. So last week I pulled it out and started doing a little bit on it and it looked like this last week. This week it looks like this. I've finished this corner, gone around the corner and then randomly put another thread in down here. I changed the cat to Eric and I think the general consensus is once this is finished and in a little square frame, I'm going to give it to my parents who have Eric. He is wonderfully happy there. He just potters around with them all day long, in and out and open the door all day long. He is the happiest cat. He's twice the size he was. He's just well fed and happy. So my Lola Crow, I'm simply finishing off with 3743, which is the very pale greyish mauve. Wallpaper. The wallpaper should have been 3746, I think, the very greyish blue. Exactly the same, but the blue version of this one. I picked the purple because the blue just looked like nothing on the fabric. It's on a piece of 20 count gridded Ada, so I'll give it a good wash when it's done, pop it in a little square frame and I'm going to give it to my parents. But as I say, there's a little bit of backstitch to do in the sails of the ship there and the wallpaper, and it's all finished. So that one's coming along. I'm still remembering to put a little bit more into it all the time, which I seem to be managing quite easily at the moment to put a little bit in here and there. And I'll get on and get that one done. So hopefully a few more, I reckon about a month of it and it'll be done if I just keep at it. And the next thing I've put just a tiny bit of stitches into because I found the pattern and had it in my work bag for a couple of days is my Shores of Hawk Run Hollow, the glorious Technicolor version. 4 blocks there representing 5-6 years of stitching, I think. This is my oldest whip, and it's on a fabric I don't normally like stitching on, the Witch Alt. It's 32 count, I think. Pretty sure it's 32 count, in this sky blue sort of colour. And I normally hate it, but my goodness me, when it's tight in a Q-snap, it is marvellous to stitch on. I personally don't like the feel of the stiffness of it, but it's absolutely brilliant to stitch on. So I really should just get over that and use the pieces I have because it's lovely to stitch on. So I decided to come down and do this one, this block here, which is a big house with a lady up on there's railings on the roof, which who doesn't want a house with railings on the roof that you can go and stand on? So So it reads My Love at Sea, but I'm going to change it. I haven't quite decided what to put the other side, My Love something or other. And I've done just a tiny bit of the grass at the bottom that the house stands on, around the flowers. There's 3 or 4 lengths in there. And I found first nice variegated green to my hand was a Weeks Dye Works Emerald. One of the very few over dyes that I bought right when I started stitching, and I literally picked like, I want this and I want that. So this was in my box of my own over dyes. I've been gifted a huge amount of over dyes, which makes my 6 or 7 collection look a bit silly. But there's an emerald. It's absolutely lovely, grassy green but variegated, and I'm stitching it. I was trying to stitch it up and down so that the grass was vertical, not horizontal. So not that it makes any difference or you can tell much, but that's where I am. So I'm going to do all the bit of grass along the bottom and then find some other colours. I've still not decided at all what colour to make this house. It will not be anything close to being charted because it's not. And entertainingly, because I was up here doing these stitches, looking at my dreadful stitches here. I've got a row of half stitches, and I mean by half I mean they're cross stitches 2 high and 1 across, because I couldn't even count when I started this. So at some point I did an over 3 cross, which made it half a stitch too big. Yeah, it's terrible, but I'm just kind of correcting the keeping my counting mistake in there, which is funny because this block here is half a stitch too wide, as will be the block below, but it is what it is. So there's my Shores of Hawk Run Hollow. I'm going to carry on with him now and again, try and get that block done for the year. And on to, there's my Weeks Dye Works Emerald, put that back on that piece. Hubble Bubble, Lisa Parker. It's an ornament size. I half wish I'd stitched the full size one, but then I'd have another enormous full size Haid, and frankly I've got quite enough of those at the moment. But I'm doing the little ornament. I'll put a little picture here of what it will look like finished. Last time I recorded it looked like this and was at 9.18. It's now at 10.02, so I have put some stitches into it and it now looks like this. So my stitches majority of my stitches have gone in here. With the light shining through it, you can see better because they're very, very pale stitches. This is actually the colour that the wallpaper should have been, this pale blue-grey there on what the cat saw. So you can see I've just picked the purple version of the same. Anyway, it was that colour. I picked it out and I immediately knew that was the colour I'd chosen not to use for it, but obviously in this, it belongs in this. And now I'm putting in some 161 over here. There's quite a big chunk of 161. I think the big cat's in front of a door. I might be making this up. I've just shown you the picture, but I might be making it up. I fancy that's a door, that the big cat with her paw up is conjuring bubbles for her kittens. I think that's what she's doing. So anyway, I've done a little bit more on that. I find this incredibly difficult to stitch on. It's 25 count easy grid, but because the line goes through, I have to draw over it with my pen because I never know whether stitch 1 in the block is on the grey or to the side of the grey. I've made my stitch 1 on the grey, but even when I started this, look, you can see I'd drawn that with arrows to try and prompt me into which way to put the first stitch, because as soon as I picked up the 25 count easy grid, I stumbled with it, because on 20 count it goes through the line of holes. It doesn't go through the line of fabric. I assume they can't print that onto the smaller fabric. 25 count is not my bag. Absolutely not my thing. I struggle with it. I'm a 20 count full coverage stitcher. I know myself well enough to just say it out loud. 25 count I struggle with. I know it makes them beautiful. I know it makes the detail really almost photographic. Yeah, I struggle to put little tiny stitches into 25 count because I pull too hard and they slip. So for me personally, 25 count is much easier. So I show you some 11 count. Onto the water dragon from Spirited Away, which is my cheap Chinese kit. Entertainingly, Maddie walked into the room and she went, "Oh, that's haiku something." She knew immediately what it was, and I was like, "Oh, well, you recognised it, that's at least good." So I've put in quite a bit of this. It now looks like this. There is the dragon. All we're missing on the dragon, he loops round like that. All we're missing is the turquoise up the dragon here, which is these blue printed stitches here. They're all going to be bright turquoise. All this bright yellow is going to be this colour, and all this bright blue is going to be this colour, essentially two tones of the same colour, them being 158 and 792, almost identical. But the dragon and his little face, we're all filled in there. So that's his face all filled in, and then the little girl. Oh goodness, we watched it. Can't remember. She got called Sen by the big bathhouse owner. Can't remember her actual name now. Neither could she. That was the whole point. So she had it written down in her pocket so she could get home. There, she's there. And then the dragon goes up. So I'm carrying on, putting in a few lengths now and again of that because it's just so easy to stitch on, using 3 strands with the kit floss, which I assume is very similar to CXC threads. They're the Chinese knockoffs. DMC Colour Match is very, very, very good. They're very good knockoffs. But because it's polyester, it's not quite the same as DMC, which I prefer and will always prefer. But again, that's personal choice for that, but this is just using these kit printed knockoff Tapestry Market, like $3. So, but if I'm going to buy dodgy unlicensed art, I'm going to buy things like Studio Ghibli stuff that is not licensed. He doesn't, apparently, according to Maddie, he does not license his artwork, full stop, because the man, Mr. Studio Ghibli man, was apparently a massive control freak and won't license anything. So to stitch something of his, I had to buy knockoff. So yeah, there we go. Anyway, 2 left to go. 3 left to go. 2 left to go. Right, I'll do my treasure hunt bookshelf next because, oh no, 3 left to go. I'll do my treasure hunt bookshelf next because I found something fun. So last time I recorded, we were at 26.3 and it was here. And I've found the bottom and trucked along the bottom a little bit. And I'm now at 26.64, so I'm still behind for the month, knowing I've only got 6 days left in the month. So we're going to do a lot of treasure hunt bookshelf stitches this week, as I tend to do at the end of every month to catch myself up. But I found something fun because I actually looked at the pattern. I found some lovely minty coloured stitches, and I thought, right, I'm definitely stitching something here. This is definitely a shape I'm stitching. So I had a look at the pattern. I'm going to crop my big pattern down, the picture of the pattern here. I'm stitching Cinderella. So where I dropped my biscuit and did all those biscuit coloured stitches, that's her hair. So look, this is where we are. And it's Cinderella. There's her hair. There's her beautiful dress as she's running. There's something blue on her dress here. Not sure what that is. And there's the front of her dress, which is paler, fits this space. And then that is her glass slipper there. So I'm going to try, it's going to be confetti, so I might not go fast enough to get my stitches in. So I might have to go and do like I did last month up here. I might have to go and do Somebody Has Been Sleeping on This. I might have to go and do a big block of stitches to make it up. As you can see, I've used my 939, I've used my 823. He's all gone. That I had on my 3-hole thing there. They've all gone. I've got 1 strand of 823 actually knocking around somewhere. Anyway, so Cinderella was discovered. So I'm going to try and keep my stitches to within Cinderella and see if I can really make some, well, 0.63 means I've got 4 lots of 72. I've got nearly 3,000 stitches left to go this month. If I keep them within my Q-snap area, bearing in mind that that is the bottom of the whole piece here, that's my straight line along the bottom, 3,000 stitches into this will be most of this. But as I say, when I show it you next week, which will probably be into August, I will definitely be into August by the time I do next video, I might have to have jumped, oh, I jumped right up here and did this huge chunk of black just to make my stitches. Be expecting me to have done that, because we all know that's why this whole piece is littered with big chunks of dark stitching, because it's the gap between the books. It's generally night sky that Nancy just jumped out of her skin. She's sleeping between my two machines again. We're going to have a little bit of a battle later because I really need to get my bags finished and listed. Etsy talk. But she just literally just jumped in, fast asleep, jumped about this high and settled back down again. So she's obviously having a funny dream. So yeah, I found Cinderella. Isn't that marvellous? And I wasn't intending to at all. That was literally where I dropped my biscuit. So I filled in that bit there. And then when I got all these greens, and it looked like folds of something. I thought, is it an umbrella? What is it I'm doing? Because I did the same with the umbrella, which is there. The bits of it I've stitched, and I thought, yeah, that's definitely something. So I said I wasn't going to look, but sometimes, you know, you just need to know what it is you're stitching. And then I was like, oh, this makes sense. That's her hair. There's her slipper. And so I'm going to make an effort. I've really got to get some stitches in to get this month boxed off. So treasure hunt bookshelf stitches on their way. As per usual, running behind myself. And the other piece I've put a little bit of work into is Pandemic, which I will put a picture up of finished. We all know what our pandemics look like. And last time I recorded it looked like this. Don't hold your breath, I've not done that much. It's gone from 13.59 to 14.38, so 0.8%. And it brings us to here. With the light shining through, you can see my progress. I finally finished this little bit here. I had like a gap in this bit at the bottom. The rest of my stitches have gone in there. I'm going to go back today or tomorrow and fill in this bit here. There's a massive mistake here because I got a bit gung-ho doing the zigzag pattern, and I was doing it without looking at the pattern, and of course the pattern changed from zigzags one way to zigzags the other way, and one of them's really miscounted and wrong, but it's just within its bounds, so it didn't really matter. So I'm going to pick my pattern up here and stitch down and then change it so that whatever I get to there, it'll meet up, but I need to do that little bit, so I'm definitely going to do that little bit. I have this morning, sorry, it's really super gloomy here today, it's completely overcast, so we're not in that bright sunshine issue we sometimes have in the conservatory. I've pulled off a pile of my Mrs. Saders hydrangea off the ball that lives it's currently residing on the coffee table. And because it's so sunny in here, Mrs. Sader, just as a public service announcement, I might be the only person that doesn't keep their floss in like a dark box. It really fades. So look, you can see where I've wound off the top, the purple underneath. Look, you can see it's now clear lines where I had it wound. So just a bit of a public service announcement, Mrs. Sader's floss really fades in the sunlight, because this has just been sitting on the table, and I picked it up and it had a purple bottom, like literal a circle on the bottom where it had been sitting on the table, and the top was completely green, because I thought that looks a little bit wishy-washy. And and then when you open the ball, inside is super purple, but then on top it was very green. And yes, it's variegated, but it wasn't variegated to the point where the whole outside shell was green and the inside was purple, because that would be incredibly hard to dye. So I've wound off it's very much been bleached by the sun and down to the purple. I'm going to put this on a thread drop and pin it onto my work. One of these, but with a one hole. I'm going to find one that really matches mine, or I'll make myself one that really matches Pandemic, because as you can see, that bit there is very green. So I'm assuming that eventually this will all be green, because I'm not terribly careful with my projects. I leave them on the top of the sofa in the sunshine. I now know that this will bleach down to green in just the sunlight, and it probably already has a bit. But if I bear that in mind from now on, because now I know it happens, and I'm more careful with how I store this, because all I need to do realistically is put the fabric over it and then put it down, because that will protect it. This is probably why people use project bags. Should maybe practice what I preach a bit. And yeah, and when it's finished, and morning Flora, I'm just doing a recording. What did you do to her? Oh, hello. I can see your elbow. All right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What time are we leaving?
Whenever you want to, darling. It's only 25 past 10.
Okay.
It's up to you, darling. I was just letting you sleep.
Can you let Grandma know that we won't be there for lunch?
Yes, I will do.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you too. Right. So this will probably be hanging in, when eventually it finally gets done, it'll go in the living room, which is the gloomiest room in the house, because there's houses opposite. This is the lightest room in the house. That way into the living room there is quite a nice gloomyish room, so it's probably the best room for something to hang that needs to be not in direct sunlight. Anyway, just so people know that Mrs. Sadie's Floss does fade in the sunlight very much. Anyway, I'm going to crack on a little bit more on Pandemic before I change it out. I still picked it up this morning and put 3 strands into it and went, oh, I still love this. So I'm still obviously happy to be stitching on it. And then the last thing I've got to show you today is a new start. Now, I did put this up on Instagram. I was sent by one of my followers on Instagram. Have you seen this? It looks like you. And it's from Sunflower Stitches. I'm going to put up the picture of the pattern here. I clicked the link she sent me, which I'm happy to click links, but it is just through Instagram. Checking out was quite difficult because there was something weird about the text box you put your card details into. They kind of overwrote themselves, so it took me 2 goes to get it to process. However, I did buy 3 patterns. When I put them in my basket, they should be £10 each. They were £7.50 each. I had a trouble checking out, so I left it a day and went back. And when I went back, they were 50% off, so they were £5 each, these patterns. Now, I don't know if that's because I had them in my basket and then the person at Sunflower Stitches went, oh, they've not checked out, I'm going to give them more discount, or whether the sale just reduced further. I'm not sure. Anyway, I got 3 patterns for 50% each. I got the Dragon's Eye. I got Always For Me, a Little Red Riding Hood pattern, and I got this here, which is literally called like Winter Sky or something. I'll put the name of the pattern underneath, or it'll be on the screenshot of it, which I just love the colours of. I don't know if I'm going to stitch it. These are big full-size patterns. They're slightly smaller than a full-size Haid, so they're big. So I don't know if I'll get around to them anytime soon, but it was nice to have them. I've got them safely downloaded. I've sent them up to my Dropbox. I will send them up to my Dropbox so that they will be stored securely. So if I ever do decide to stitch them, they're there for me. So this eye is the stitched eye is 260-ish stitches. So it's going to be this kind of size. So I pulled out various fabrics. I started it on a lovely blue motley fabric that I had, and then suddenly thought, sorry, there's a fly just annoying me. I suddenly thought this isn't going to fit, so I counted it and it was only going to fit with a margin of like 2 stitches at the top and the bottom, and I was like, nah, I'm not really, I want it, if I'm going to frame it nicely, I want to be able to frame it nicely. So I dredged around, found a couple of suspects. Again, one was 28 count and one was 32 count, and they were both only going to be tiny margins. So I went and ratched through my big bag of fabric and found the other piece, because when I did the pointed fifth, I cut it to size and only dyed what I needed, and I found the piece that was left over, again it's 32 count, it was white sparkly Lugana, and the piece is just big enough to have 2-inch margin, which I will take. So I dyed it with tie-dye dye, which I bought from Aldi on the special aisle, and Aldi specials a couple of years ago, and have never used. It's when I thought I would become a fabulous fabric dyer, which obviously I haven't, because I dye fabrics for myself. And I love it. I was worried the blue was going to go brown, but it's absolutely beautiful. It's pale blue, there's some mauve in there. I did the base orange and then put on top red and blue. And this is what I've got. This is the colourful end. The paler end is here. I'm trying not to show you my stitches just yet. And I think that's going to really go very nicely with it. So obviously I started this. I've gridded some of it to check it fits, which it does. I will grid all of it with the filament. So I've got the bright pink filament, that's one of my 2 spools of Gutermann filament that I grid with, because I find it pulls out really easily. And it's at 2.41%, so I pretty much have a pupil here. That's what I've done so far. So I've done the pupil, I've started a little bit of the white of the eye, and there's a little bit of the blue there of the iris. So this is going, the eyeball is going to be this size, and then we've got the scales that go around. So it is going to be, it's going to fit to within 2 inches of the edge here. So it's going to come to about there, and then it's going to come to about, I'm going to have about it's going to come to about here on this side. I'm going to have about a strip about that much clear down that side. That was the brighter end, so I put it on the paler end right up to this edge rather than in the middle. I could have just started in the middle, but I wanted to avoid some of this really bright bit, which is a little bit brighter than it's showing. But I'm really pleased with the result, and this was literally with a bottle. The powdered dye is just in it. You just fill it up with water, shake it, and then just use it and just let it sit. There was no fixer, it was all in the premixed dye, just literally the bottles of tie-dye. So you can dye fabric with pre-bought tie-dye. It was meant to dye cotton and things, you know, cotton t-shirts. Came with a pack with rubber bands and gloves. So I've got 2, I bought, I think there was 4 different colourways. I bought 3 different of the colourways when they were really reduced on the special aisles, because obviously people didn't know what to do with tie-dye. And yeah, that's what I used. So I'm really pleased with my progress there. I'm going to keep on at this one for a little while. I want to get the eyeball kind of done. Okay, house is all basically up and awake now, so I'm just going to pause it for now, and I'll be back. That's the end of the stitchy talk, and I'll be back with a little bit of Etsy talk in a little while. Okay. Right, I'm back. Just had some toast and some breakfast. Richard's gone off to work. 2 of my girls are up and about, and it's shop talk time. Sun's come out a little bit. Oh, it's not come out. It's gone through a bit of thinner clouds. We've got some light on the greenhouse. Look at my tomatoes and cucumbers, by the way, here, and my peas have grown and flopped, and now they're growing again that way. So I'm just letting them do their thing and go out and harvest 1 to 2 every couple of days for tea. Yeah, so Etsy, I am needing to put things in the shop. So Lizzie has been very busy. We've had 4 orders, 4 custom needle minders, which are all ready. 3 are dispatched and one is waiting. So she started painting bookmarks, which are rather glorious. I appreciate these aren't stitching in Gutermann, but they are going in the shop. So we've got moons, we've got, this one's green on that side, but on that side there is a barn owl in a hat, because yes, obviously. And then on this side we've got the moons again, faces of the moon, and on that side is the most beautiful candle I think I've ever seen. And on this side of this one, we've got beautiful nighttime flowers, and on the other side is a baby deer drinking. It's gorgeous. I'm going to seal these in with like a Mod Podge, just so that because they are slightly watercoloury, I will seal them in. I've got a little tassel on them. They'll be going in the Etsy shop. And then to go with each one of those, she did a pair of needle minders. I've just got to put the magnets on the back, which I have. People do keep asking me where I get these amazing magnets from. Amazon. Neodymium or rare earth. They come in packs of about that many. You get a pack like that big. Anyway, Amazon. There's no need for us to have rubbishy magnets on the back of our needle minders. These things exist. Anyway, I've got this many, so I can make this many needle minders. 2 each per needle minder, obviously. By the by, the magnets are there. I'm ready to go. These are all painted on the same wooden disc that she puts the pet portraits on, and she is much better at doming resin than I am, of course. So there's a sun and a moon. There is blue roses and toadstools. There is white roses and pure spider's web. There's lilies and a snail and the moth and a nighttime kitty. I don't even know if you can even see that properly. He's so cute. So again, they're Lizzie's. She will get all of that into her I'm going to university fund. So her things are going up in my shop, but they're her things. I made a set of, to go with my dragon's eye, which I'll put up again here, I made 8 sort of samey themey. They don't look much like it, but of course I just saw the pieces before I bought the pattern. I just immediately grabbed the Fimo and made some. So there's a few of those. I found a couple of old, that is one of the first ones I made, and a rather beautiful one from a spotty cane, a rainbow, ray rainbow cane there. So I've just found them, so they're going up. And I found a couple of other oldie bits, and then I made some new thread drops, and I love them. They've not got the magnets on yet, but I made sheep, and they're sheepy swirls. So I made a cane of translucent and white to make the wool, and it's got a sheepy head, so it'll have a magnet on the back, a 2-hole drop, and I love them. I really love them. They just turned out so cute. So I have a small batch of these, which are going up. And so they're Etsy ones. There's a couple of dragons that Lizzie's made, that are, there is a daisy dragon, a bit special. I probably showed you this one last time, I think, but these are going up. These will be going into the shop. There's one there. Lizzie's done all of this. She's done the Fimo, she's done the scissor fob as well. That's her picking colours. You can see she's got the eye for it. And that one's very glorious. And there's another one there. This one's been resin, so he is very shiny. Wrong way round, buddy. Come on, turn round. He's a very shiny, like river dragon there. So I've got some of those to go in, and then some of my bags as well, which hopefully I'll get done today, and will get listed up as well. Yeah. So there's some new things going, some new things, some fun things going into my Etsy shop. Just CraftieEmily. I will link it in the description, or just search CraftieEmily. A lot of you are already following my shop, favorited my shop anyway, so there should be some new things going up. I had to pull some of my needle minders because of a bad batch of resin. Now, about a year and a half ago, I threw away a whole new pack of UV resin, which is the resin I use to cover especially my stamp needle minders. Because it smelt funny, it smelt really alarming, it smelt unbelievably chemically when you put it under the light to cure. And they've gone yellow. And I'm not at all happy that it's yellowed, and they've yellowed in a box. So yesterday I got them all out, put them on top of the hot tub lid, which was baking hot with the bright sunshine on it, and basically left all my needle minders out there for a couple of hours, brought them in, and very could easily pick off the yellowed ones. So all the yellowed ones, because I only really noticed it because I went to pack an Etsy order yesterday, and she's in the UK, and if she watches me on YouTube, I will fix it. I put a note in to say this I'm not happy with this, I will fix it, and I will fix it. I went to I went to pull one for an order, and I looked at it and I thought, and it was a full painted stamp, and I was like, you know, proper, it didn't have any white background on the stamp, and I was like, something quite wrong with this. And I put it next to another one from the same set, but obviously I'd resined at a different time, and I went, oh my god, look at it. And then I leafed through them and I was like, that one's wrong, and that one doesn't look right. So I put them out in the sunshine, and like instantly they went yellow. So I'm pretty sure I've pulled all the ones that are problematic. I've binned the listings so someone can't buy one accidentally. The lady who is guessing her needle minder today, I have ordered stamps. As soon as those stamps come, I will make a new needle minder, and I will post you a new needle minder as a replacement, because I'm not happy. As I wrote on the little note, I'm not happy with it. But I had no idea that it had happened, and I didn't want to delay the order because I was already slightly a few days late on the orders because I was posting everything together. I posted 29 things out yesterday. Needle Minder of the Month clubs are on their way, all but Kelly in Canada, whose June didn't arrive. We decided to give it a week. Kelly let me know if you do get it within that week. If you don't, we'll fix that. But that's the only one I've got outstanding, and it's outstanding for a reason. But everybody else's July's needle minder is on the way. The UK ones, you might have got them this morning. By the time you watch this, you might have already got it. I hope you like it. It's a different sort of needle minder from me. I'm already thinking for my colours and what I'm going to be doing for August. It's going to be another polymer clay, handmade polymer clay one coming next month. So hope you like them. I've got a few new people join me this month, and so hopefully you all like the needle minders, and thank you very much. Every penny of my Etsy and needle minder money is going towards repairing my car, which is a third more than my expected. My car had a bearing, the exhaust system had rotted through, and one of the rear shocks, hence why my car had been going clonk bang really frighteningly, was the rear shock had broken and leaked all its oil out, and that would have been the oil that that makes sense now. I know exactly when that went because there was a little pond of oil under my car. That was my rear shock going. So 3 items, yeah. So yeah, if anyone wants to go and buy something out of my Etsy shop, that would be marvellous, because it's the only spare money I have right now. So she says as my phone goes cha-ching, so somebody's just bought something from my Etsy shop. Thank you to whoever has just been on my Etsy shop and unexpectedly at 11 o'clock in the UK on July the 25th of July. Just bought something. Thank you very much. It's more than one item as well. Thank you very much. I can't view it on my watch, but it tells me how much money it is, so I know it's more than one item. That's massively helpful. Thank you. Anyway. My whole point of my Etsy shop is that you get something beautiful, and it helps me out massively. So I'm going to get on and get those bags made. I'm going to get this stuff magneted up and listed. So today, tomorrow, anyone who follows has favorited my shop might get a little notification. Pop in and have a look, please. And yeah, I think that's about it for me. I've got a couple of new bits of fabric that I probably didn't need to get, but they were so pretty I couldn't resist, and I'm going to make bags straight away from them, possibly slightly more traditional type bags, but maybe just that little bit bigger, but with the vinyl front, because I still love my vinyl. And I love the vinyl and love the denim. So I think for me, my bags, that's where my bags are going to be, is vinyl and the sparkly vinyl and the denim. I think that just means it's my bag, a bag from me, as it were. Yes, guys, I think I'm about done. Thank you to everybody who watches right through to the end and supports me, because it makes a massive difference. It really does. And we're just chugging along. First week of the school summer holidays is nearly over. Lizzie, my middle girl, has quite accidentally got herself a full-time job, which is marvellous for her. So for the next couple of months, she'll be working 7 till 3, Monday till Friday. Flora has got an interview tomorrow she's more, because she's 16, it's more weekend and after school work for her. And Maddie is currently sending out feelers. She's had a few good weeks off. She's produced some beautiful paintings, Lake District-y, and she's doing a Red Riding Hood painting at the moment, which I'm looking at the sketch of it. I already want to stitch it. So we'll keep an eye on that. And she's like Lizzie, she's extremely talented, but in a different way. You've seen a lot of Maddie's artwork. It used to sit behind me in my old house. Yeah, we're going along, and better get on with my day. So thanks ever so much, everybody, for watching, supporting and being nice. Not had any more nasty comments since Nasty Comment Lady got the heave-ho. So everything's okay at the moment, and we're chugging along. We'll do a bit more life update next week, I think. And brilliant. I'll see you later, guys. I'm going to go and do some I'm going to go and do some stuff. I'm probably going to sit and do some stitching, realistically, aren't I? Bye bye for now.